Greetings, friends. My name is David McLeod, and I am your life mastery coach and best-selling lead author of the brand new book, Gifts of Wisdom, Practices for Healing and Empowerment, which is now available on Amazon at the link I've provided below. Welcome to my chapter reading series for this book, in which you get to meet each author and listen in during a personal reading of that person's entire chapter from this amazing book. Today, my guest is Ilene Dillon, a wise contributor who brought to us chapter 12. Ilene is a psychotherapist and marriage and family counselor with over 50 years of experience. She is an international keynote speaker, past host of her own podcast, Full Power Living, which aired for 13 years. She's a master instructor for parenting consciously, realigning with anger and or fear, and ending manipulation, among other life-affirming topics. Thank you for being here today, Ilene. It's always great to spend time with you on camera. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm very excited about sharing this. Thank you for the opportunity to share because, in our lives, we build up knowledge and wisdom and then start looking for people to tell about it because it's wonderful.
Right. Well, and that sounds like your reason for wanting to participate in this book in the first place.
Yes, that was a welcome invitation. I signed on pretty early going, yes, I love telling people my wisdom. Thank you for the opportunity.
There you go. Yeah. And of course, I know that you're no stranger to writing. You've had lots of experience with writing, and so this probably wasn't a huge leap for you. Tell me a little bit about your process in coming to write your chapter.
Well, years ago, I was terrified to write, and because I grew up in a very judgmental family. My father was very judgmental, and I was convinced if I put my writing out, people would criticize me. And I finally came to a point one day when I was throwing papers on the floor because I was judging everything I was writing. I just said, I have stuff in me that I need to get out. So I'm just going to write this. I don't care if it has spelling errors or punctuation problems. I'm going to write it. I'm going to put it in a file drawer, and I'm not going to even look at it myself unless I choose to. And it took me about 6 months to get back. And that turned out that I had written an article about a class that I had been in, submitted it to a professional magazine, and it was accepted by the psychiatrist who ran the magazine without any changes at all. And he said to me, it's a privilege to find a psychotherapist who can actually write. And since that time, writing is like, those old linotype machines that used to be in the movies where the letters would drop down into the little trough so things could be printed. That's what writing is like for me. I think about what I want to write. I type really fast. I type 120 words a minute, and I just put it out there. It's like it just falls right into my head, and I type it as fast as I can.
Right. Beautiful.
That's my process.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a great lesson for all of us to learn. I think everybody has a story, or many stories perhaps, that need to be written and shared. And sometimes we're a little bit afraid to write it out there because we have this story in our minds that people are going to judge it, or they're going to judge me as unworthy, or whatever the words are that we want to put on that. And as I've learned for myself, and you probably have had this experience too, most of the time people aren't even paying attention to me, let alone judging me.
And it gets worse as you get older.
That's right.
I got my hair cut this week. I've been walking around for 4 days and not one soul has mentioned, oh, you got your hair cut. And when you're younger, they usually do notice. But when you're older, okay.
Right. Well, I don't want to waste any more time. I'd really like to just get to your chapter. So I'm going to ask everybody, please pay attention. This is going to be Ilene Dillon sharing chapter 12, Relationship Power, Wisdom for Creating a Longer, Healthier, and Happier Life.
My story. The phone rang, 2:30 a.m. It's that damn obscene phone caller. Why does he keep calling? Fumbling with my flashlight, I went to the phone on the kitchen wall, carefully avoiding furniture recently placed in my still new to me home. He only says hello, then breathes before he hangs up. I didn't know what to do. Calls started 3 days after my husband walked out. It's got to be a neighbor who heard us arguing and could see lights going on and off, I reasoned. I was terrified, living alone for the first time in my life. Why? I wailed into the phone, stomping my feet in frustration. I banged the receiver back on its cradle, returned to bed, and stared into the blackness above me. As long as I stay awake, I cannot be taken by surprise. My mind raced. My body shuddered. My toddler and I could be attacked as we slept. Finally, I fell into a fitful sleep. Night after night. Growing up was awful for me, with neglect, serious injury and illness, institutional living, and permanent removal from my birth mother at age 2. There was more. Constant relocation with my military family, never seeing school friends again. I didn't know how to focus on positive possibilities. In college, I met my future husband. Our families were dysfunctional. We married at age 19. With him, I felt loved, that I mattered, and almost normal. We moved to the opposite coast, renting a small houseboat in the middle of Seattle, Washington. We made a pact to help each other complete undergraduate and master's degrees. 8 years into the marriage, adding a baby unexpectedly destroyed our relationship. It's daytime. Why is the phone ringing so loudly? Struggling out of bed, my estranged husband's voice sounded friendly. He was already living with another woman, yet confusingly, he frequently called to confess, "I love you." If you love me, why aren't you here to protect us? I felt both safer and confused. That man called again last night. I couldn't get him to talk to me. He never answered when I said hello. Sounding alarmed, my husband challenged, "You talk to him? Never talk to obscene callers. No wonder he keeps calling. Just hang up." I didn't know, I said, feeling weak and stupid. Growing up, I was restricted from using the phone. Now I was an adult with a house and a baby. I was finishing my master's degree and becoming a psychotherapist to help others, yet I didn't know I should not speak to obscene callers. How will I make it? 2:45 a.m., the phone rang again. I didn't answer. He knows I'm here. I panicked. What if he breaks in and stabs me and my daughter? Shaking, I was unable to stop thinking about the violence. Abruptly, the ringing stopped. I hate this. I need help from someone more powerful than me. I talked aloud to God. Okay, God, truth be told, I don't want to die at all. People say death is inevitable. I'll accept it if I have to, but I don't want me or my daughter to die a violent death. You're God. You're omnipotent. You have to keep us safe. I can't do this by myself. I also don't want to worry for my whole life, so I'm turning this over to you. Please take care of us. I added a thank you. I didn't want to sound too demanding. Returning to bed, I crawled under the covers and fell into a peaceful sleep. The obscene phone caller dialed my number only one more time, ever. I learned not to respond to him. I now know that when we learn a lesson that has been presented to us through our experience, that lesson is over. I'm a believer. Never another obscene phone call in 52 years. I had other lessons and much more to learn. I didn't know how to do many of the jobs in my suddenly different life. I had to make decisions and take full responsibility for 2 lives. I was financially dependent on a man who reneged on his agreement to parent with me. How will I find the time and resources to finish my last year of graduate school alone with a year-old child? We have an agreement, I reminded my husband. You need to support us financially through this year. Then I'll be able to earn an income and take care of us, which will be better for you. Here's how much I'll need. Promise me you'll do this. Wisely, he agreed. I still had to find childcare and time to study. I didn't share my deep pain. I've been abandoned again, the story of my life. I knew this was going to happen. I never wanted things to be this way. I did everything I could to make things work. I hate this. What's wrong with me? No matter what, I will not let my child be miserable like I was. My brain exploded. Nobody cares about me or my daughter. I never thought I would be alone with all of this. Now it's all up to me. Why did he do this to me? I was always told what to do and punished if I didn't do it. My parents made life-changing decisions without consulting me. I'd always been powerless. Now, for the first time, I directed my own life. Nobody else was there. Scary, like a nightmare. Things shifted. Figuring things out was all up to me. I needed to figure out how to parent alone. I have to make decisions and a plan. I don't want to parent like my parents parented me. How do you parent alone? How will I know I'm making the right decisions? And what about this awful anger pouring out of me? Where do I begin? I could not quit or fold. My daughter needed me. Somehow, I had to immediately transform into a powerful, effective person who made good adult decisions. I surprised myself with my success over the next 10 years of hard work. In graduate school, I made all A's. I developed a parenting method, conscious parenting, that emphasized decision-making and character development and was based on spiritual principles. My daughter developed self-confidence, responsibility, and creativity, and made thoughtful decisions. I made money teaching this method to families and schools in the US and abroad. Lemonade from lemons. Still, I desperately needed to know more about anger. Why do we have it? What's it for? What is it? And how do I deal with it? Constantly seeking, my search took years. We cannot get rid of emotions, their energy, but we can master emotions. Anger can be transformed into enthusiasm. At first, there were no answers to my questions. Eventually, I made discoveries and tried them out in my own life. When something worked, I offered it to my therapy clients who were eager to experiment. We all felt better. Our lives improved. When the COVID epidemic occurred, former clients, sometimes from 40 years before, asked me for checkups. The work we did with emotions was still intact. What they learned about emotions still worked well for them. I realized I discovered a totally unique and powerful way of understanding and working with emotions. No one I spoke to viewed emotions the same way. What I discovered was practical, effective, and lasting. Plus, it was simple. I had advanced from very angry person to recovering angry person to recovered angry person, which I am today. Eventually, I learned to partner with anger, using anger as it's designed to work for us. I published my first book, Emotions in Motion, Mastering Life's Built-in Navigation System. I also wrote about realigning with anger and outgrowing manipulation. I became a professional speaker, Amazon best-selling author, and master teacher with a 13-year podcast, Full Power Living, focused on awakening the world to the power and importance of human emotions. 1994. I made my most life-altering decision and life change. While researching Exploring Love with Your Child, a book for teaching parents how to help their children with emotions, one resource proclaimed, "Love is love is love. It doesn't matter whether you love yourself or you love someone else. What does matter is that you choose to live by love, to embody the principle of love." I chose love, and everything changed. We've all been taught many things that don't work. Prevalent is the notion of living from the outside in. Disney's famous song promises, "Someday my prince will come." A great thought, but pure fantasy. We believe we must find love. Human life has been created to work best from the inside out. We need to become the loving prince we seek. Once we have what we believe we need, it manifests in our lives. The love we hold inside attracts others to us. They mirror the love we already have. That author's words made sense to me. I chose to become and live by love. My life transformed and changed forever. What a radical concept. We need to love ourselves first and foremost to have the love we want. For years, I believed I was not lovable. By loving myself first, I no longer needed someone to love me. Self-love was not selfish. I felt loved all the time, no deficit. What if everyone is lovable? I realized loving myself brings love to me, then I share love with the world. Learning to love myself was arduous and took time. When I started using the advice I received, I could barely do it. I decided to stop judging myself. I learned the power of living by principles, and I kept asking myself, how will I behave when I truly love myself? With determination, consciousness, and effort, I did it. The more I loved myself and could feel it, the more I understood the idea that life is designed to be lived from the inside out. Changing only me brought amazing, profound changes into every part of my life. Even strangers now treated me with thoughtfulness, kindness, and even love. What a radical departure from my earlier life. Learning to love myself is the most important thing I've ever done for myself or my family. All our lives were transformed when there was plenty of love, and it all started inside of me. My life transformed. After 20 years as a single parent, I remarried. My husband was a respected and successful neurosurgeon who loved me, invited me to watch him do brain surgery. I loved it, and upgraded my life. To function well with him, a man accustomed to wielding power and being top of the heap, I developed a core of personal power in myself. With him, I experienced more support than ever before for my work, my choices, and for being my full self. Together, we gave speeches and published writings. He pointedly helped me improve the organization of my brain. In turn, I shared with him how to work powerfully with emotions. Ours was a wonderful relationship and collaboration. Just over 20 years together, my husband died of cancer at home with his family gathered around and loving him just as he wanted. He welcomed the release from pain, and I lost my fear of death. More new chapters opened in my life. I cleared out and sold our house, bought an RV, and became a full-time RVer, roaming North America with my little dog Pi. We've had wonderful, loving experiences, demonstrating again that the love I have inside of me is reflected to me from the outside. I've been writing, speaking for conferences, appearing on podcasts and summits, coaching and being a therapist, and sharing with the world the amazing things I've learned about emotions. Partnering with anger protects us from mental and physical illness, enhances self-esteem, and lifts depression. I now know that life here on earth is designed for our transformative learning. As we realign with emotions, we learn the profound yet simple system offered for our learning. Engaging with this system facilitates our positive transformation. We can do this work ourselves and enjoy flow, ease, and joy. You and me, all of us, are students in the giant school called Earth. Our primary support and challenge is exploring love, choosing love. Live the life you want to lead. Love yourself first and experience love spreading and then being reflected back to you. The practice. In 2023, CNBC reported findings from a research study started by Harvard researchers in 1938. This 85-year-long study investigated what makes people happy. 724 male participants shared health records, answered detailed personal questions, and their family members were interviewed. Teenagers at the beginning, study participants were men of various economic and social backgrounds, from the poorest to Harvard undergrads. President John F. Kennedy was an original participant. Approximately 60 original participants are still participating. The results? Positive relationships consistently correlated with a happy life. Study subjects were happier, healthier, and lived longer when they had positive relationships. Google says a positive relationship should bring more happiness than unhappiness, and they're characterized by honesty. Partners are honest with each other, including emotionally. Respect. Partners accept differences, seeing others as they are. Trust. Partners are trustable and trust each other. Notice the positives. Partners share appreciation for positive qualities. Communication. Partners maintain connection through communication. Empathy. Partners feel with each other rather than for each other. Forgiveness. Partners value the relationship highest of all, releasing hurts. For 53 of the 85-year Harvard study, I've worked as a marriage and family counselor and psychotherapist. My clients and I have worked to release problems and develop positive relationships. Most people are challenged to develop the positive relationships needed for happiness. Why? Because we haven't developed a positive relationship with ourselves. Creating positive relationships with others occurs naturally and easily when we feel loved. Unfortunately, most of us have been taught to live our lives from the outside in, not from the inside out. If someone wants a loving partner, they're encouraged to find someone to love them. That's living life from outside in. Sometimes it works, but it's not reliable because of this principle. What you have inside of you, you tend to attract from outside of you. When we hunt for love, we pay attention to the problem. Love is missing. Living as an outside-in person, we place attention on what we don't have. Paying attention to this problem feeds it energy. It grows. Searching out there to find someone to give us the love we believe we must get from others can make our problem worse. Ironically, we end up attracting someone who also believes I don't have the love I need. They're hoping we bring them their missing love. Two people who are expecting another to provide them with what they're missing. Think of your own relationship experiences. How does this combined neediness work? Contrast this with the fill myself with love first system. We build our love inside of us, ending love deprivation. We've got so much love, it spills over onto others. We're no longer needy, seeking someone to fill us with love. Instead, love inside of us is mirrored back to us abundantly. Life is an inside-out design. Loving ourselves first makes us a love generator, adding to and spreading love for the whole world. It's not selfish. Filled with love, we feel it, share it, and spread it. Whether alone or with others, we're filled with love. We're now in a foundational positive relationship, experiencing more happiness than unhappiness with ourselves and with others too. We're focused continually on feeling good and living joyfully. We attract love when the love we already have inside is reflected from outside. By creating love internally, we've become love. People entering our lives bring their excess love to us because like attracts like. They're filled with love too. We can't lose. Creating the love we want inside of us fills us with love and brings love to us. I didn't know how to love myself. I asked for help. Here is the simple method. Sit quietly, eyes closed. In your mind's eye, envision a baby, animal or human. Feel your love for that baby. Now, transfer that feeling of love from the baby to yourself. At first, I could maintain that feeling for 5 seconds. I kept at it. Eventually, I could love myself for longer. Then, loving me became a part of me. I was in a lasting positive relationship with myself. I practiced the same positive relationship behaviors, this time with myself. Honesty. I'm honest with myself, especially regarding what I feel. Respect. I accept myself as I am, changing only if I want to. I know we all have strengths and flaws. I accept mine. Trust. I experience myself as the amazing person I am, worthy of trust, self-belief, and loving support. Notice the positives. I'm grateful for who I am and my good character, able to notice, appreciate, and share my positive qualities. Communication. I enjoy communicating with myself. The spoken word has power. Conversing aloud helps me understand and sort things out. Empathy. I'm kinder to myself. I realize I'm human. I do the best I can with what I know at the time. Forgiveness. Forgiveness means to let go. I let go of self-judgment, self-blame, and negative self-talk. I love myself as unconditionally as I can. When you stop judging yourself, you stop judging others too, and they stop judging you. The way to end judgment in your life is to end it inside of you. We all want to be happy. Harvard investigators have revealed that throughout our lives, people who report being happiest have had positive relationships. The fastest, most reliable, and most complete way to develop positive relationships in your life is to live inside out, establishing your foundational positive relationship with yourself. Start now.
Beautiful, Ilene. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was, wow. I found myself laughing and crying through as I was listening to you read. Beautiful, beautiful.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
You and I have some similar elements to our story, and yeah, so I resonate with pretty much everything you say.
Oh, great. Well, I keep thinking one of these days I want to not be going over this miserable stuff, but it really was character forming and really, I go back to it. My son says, "Get over it, Mom. Look forward. Stop talking about it."
Right.
I know he's correct.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and I
when
think
I
you
do,
hit on the main thing. The main objective here is self-love. If we can learn to do that without thinking that it's somehow selfish to love ourselves, if we can understand that love is a healing energy, it's not a selfish energy at all. So if I can direct healing energy to myself, I can simply improve myself and become more for the rest of the world to share with them.
Exactly. I have found the more I love myself, the better therapist I am. And also, in therapy, you may have this experience too. When I started out, I had quite a few people who would show up and I just didn't fit with them. I couldn't work with them. But the more I've loved myself, the more whoever shows up is just a perfect fit and we get right to work. It's really interesting. Life just flows a lot more smoothly when you're loving yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And not only that, I think that the more you love yourself, the more you are willing to stop projecting the things that you have about yourself on other people. And I think that's ultimately what creates separation from us, right? Is if I'm
Mm-hmm.
projecting something onto you and I have my judgments about it, then I see you as somehow bad or separate from me or whatever. Whereas if I can love myself and release all of those projections because I'm no longer judging myself, all of a sudden now I can see you for who you really are and not for all of these stories I've made up about you.
And that's what I mentioned in this chapter. I didn't realize till I decided, I'm sick of judging myself and judging other people. I'm going to give up judgment. I had no idea that meant that they would stop judging me, and
Yeah,
this
right.
whole worry that I had about being judged and categorized for writing just disappeared. Didn't
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Pretty amazing how that works, huh?
I thought so. Still do.
Right. Well, everyone, there you go. Another fantastic chapter reading from another fantastic author. I hope that you are inspired now. If you don't already have a copy of this book, to pick one up at our Amazon book link right on the page on the screen below. Also, if you'd like to connect with Ilene Dillon directly, please reach out to her on her website at https://emotionalpro.com. I've also put that link on the screen so you can check that out. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, Ilene, for being here. I hope everybody comes back and watches all the rest of these great videos in this series. Love, light,
Yes.
and blessings to you on your continuing journey. Bye-bye for now.